Hello all, welcome to your ICT class. This is video number 49 on chapter 10, My Computer. So before starting today's class, let's see the topics that we have discussed in our last class. In our last class, we have learned about free software and proprietary software. The operating system and application software is available under two categories, and that is free software and proprietary software. Free software means users has the freedom to use the software for any purpose, to edit the source code, incorporate changes to it and copy it. But in the case of proprietary software, the users are restricted from copying and manipulating this because these are created for single users like a particular company. Then we have learned about free operating systems. Even though the computers were developed earlier, the operating systems were designed later. When the personal computers became very popular, the computer world started thinking about operating systems which can be handled easily by the user. Then the first operating system was Mac OS by the Apple company in 1980. Then later Microsoft Windows has been launched. But these operating systems can be used only with the permission of the concerned companies. And they also restricted the freedom of the users in many ways. So this led to the idea of free operating system, and the first free operating system in the world was GNU Linux, which was developed in the year 1992. Then we have learned about beautification of desktop, how to change the desktop background. Right click the mouse on the desktop, select the option change background, then click the background tab. Then from the wallpapers and pictures tab, we can select the required picture, then click on the select button. Today we are going to move on to the last topics of this chapter. So let's see the learning objectives. Today we are going to learn about folders, how to find the path of a file, then how to add a language to the computer. Okay, now we are familiar with the desktop of our operating system. We have an important folder in this desktop, that is home folder. Home folder is the main folder where the user's files are stored, and we have also saved all the activities done in our previous chapters in this folder. So let's open this. Here in the home folder we have another folder, that is students work 8. In this we have all the files, all the activities done in our previous chapter. So we have saved all the files in the home folder. So folders are used to store files. We have to save the files in folders so that it is easy to retrieve it later whenever we want. Do you know how to create a new folder? For that, place the mouse pointer at the position where we want to create a folder. Then right click the mouse. Then select the option new folder. Then here we have to give the name for the folder. Then click on the create button. Now a new folder with the given name will be created. So this is how we can create new folders, and the folders are used for storing files. Okay, now let's move on to our next topic, that is finding the path of a file. Do you know how to find the path of a file? Okay, now let's select this file, Taj Mahal. Do you remember this file? This is the file that we have prepared in our first chapter, when a letter reaches the computer. So we have selected the file. We have to find the path of this file. For that, we have to right click on this file, then select the option properties, and in this properties we can see the path of this file. See, home Aneena students work 8. That means the file Taj Mahal is stored in the students work 8 folder in home folder. Okay, so this is the path of the file Taj Mahal. So how to find the path of a file? Just right click on that file, then select the option properties. In that we can see the path of that file. Okay, now let's move on to the next topic. Be careful while saving a file. A file is generated as a result of a work done in the computer, right? Whenever we do a work in the computer, a file will be generated. Then after completing the work, we will save that file. So we should not save the file carelessly in any name and in any location. We have to create a specific folder then save that file in that folder, and we should also give an appropriate name for the file while saving it, and this will help us to remember and retrieve the file later when we want. Okay, so whenever we save a file, we have to give an appropriate name. We have to create a specific folder to save it. So all these will help us to retrieve the file later whenever we want. Now, do you know where the files will be stored if we are not saving it without assigning a proper name or exact location? According to the type of the file, it will be stored in the home folder, or the folders like documents, pictures, etc. that can be seen in the home folder. Okay, so in home folder we have many folders like documents, downloads, music, pictures, etc. So whenever we save a file without giving a proper name or without selecting a proper location, then that files will be saved in the home folder, and depending on the type of the file, it will be saved in these folders: documents, downloads, music, pictures, etc. If we have if it is a picture, it will be saved in the pictures folder. If it is an audio, it will be saved in the music folder. If we have downloaded any files from internet, it will be saved in the downloads folder. Or if it is any documents like word processor document or spreadsheet document, etc., it will be stored in the documents folder. So depending upon the type of the file, it will be stored in documents, downloads, music, pictures, etc. folders in the home folder. So whenever we save a file, we have to give a proper name for the file. We have to create a specific folder to it, then save that file in that folder. Okay, and that will help us to retrieve the file later whenever required. Now our next topic is renaming a folder. How to rename a folder. So let's open the students worksheet. Inside this we have created a folder named ABC. Now we are going to rename this folder. How to rename the folder? For that, right click the mouse on that folder, and in this we have an option rename. Click on that. Here we can give the new name. After that, click on this rename button. Then that folder will be renamed. So in order to rename a folder, right click the mouse on that folder, select the option rename, give the new name here, then click on the rename button, then that folder will be renamed. Okay, our next topic is system settings. We all know how to type Malayalam in the computer. We have already learned about this in our previous chapters. If we want to type in Malayalam or any other language, what is the first step? First, we have to change the keyboard layout to that language. How to change the keyboard layout? For that, we have an icon EN here at the top, which indicates English. Click on that. Then below English, we can see Malayalam. That means Malayalam language is already included or added into this computer. So we can select this Malayalam. Then we can start typing Malayalam. But if we want to type in any other language that is not included in this computer, first we have to add that language. How to add a new language to the computer? For that, click on this icon, then select System Settings. Then in System Settings, select the option Region and Language. And here, input sources, we can see English and Malayalam. That means already we have English and Malayalam languages added in this computer. If you want to add a new language, click on this plus button at the bottom. Then click on this three dots, that is more options. Then from this, select the required language and click on this add button. Now let's select Hindi. Okay, select Hindi, then click this add button. So now a new language Hindi is added to this computer. So in order to add a new language, click on this plus button. Then click on this more options. From this, select the required language and click on the add button. So now let's summarize what we have learned today. Today our first topic was folders to store file. We have learned that folders are used to store files, and we have seen the main folder in a computer, that is home folder, where all the files are stored. Then our second topic was finding the path of a file. How to find the path of a file? Right click on the saved file, select the option properties. In that we can see the path for that file. Then we have learned that while we save a file, we have to give an appropriate file name. Then we have to create a specific folder for saving it. All these will help us to remember and retrieve the file later whenever required. And when we are saving the files without giving a proper name or exact location, then that file will be stored in documents, pictures, downloads, music, etc. folders in home folder, depending upon the type of the file. Our next topic is renaming a folder. How to rename a folder? Right click on the folder, select the option rename, give the new name and click on the rename button. So this is how we can give a new name to the already existing file. Then our last topic was system settings. So if we want to type any other languages than English, we have to change the keyboard layout to that specific language. For that, we have to click on the EN icon at the top of the desktop. From that, we have to select the required language. Then we can start typing in that language. But if we want to type a new language, first we have to add that language to the computer. For that, select the system settings, then from that select region and languages. Then in that we can see input sources. Under that we can see the languages already included in the computer. If you want to add a new language, click on the plus button at the bottom, and from the list we can select the required language. Then click on the add button. So that is the procedure to add a new language to the computer. Now we have a homework. Write the steps to add a new language to the computer in your notebook. So children, I hope all of you have understood the topics that we have discussed today. So by this video, we are completing our last chapter, that is chapter 10, My Computer. And I hope all of you have understood all the activities done in this chapter. So next class onwards, we will be starting our revision classes. So study well, complete your notes. See you next class. Bye. Thank you and have a nice day.